Atonement is a film directed by Joe Wright, which is based on the novel of the same title by Ian McEwan. Released to audiences in 2007, the film follows a story of two lovers, Robbie Turner, played by James McAvoy, and Cecilia Tallis, played by Keira Knightley, and how they cope with a misunderstanding and twisting of truth by her younger sister Bryony, as a result of her love for Robbie and jealousy of her sister Cecilia. Director Joe Wright has used a technique of representing the film through multiple different perspectives, allowing the audience to sympathize with the protagonist and better understand the storyline. As well as that, the film takes place in 3 separate time periods, as we watch Bryony mature and come to terms with the pain and upset that she has caused through her accusations. This brings relevance to the title of the film, Atonement, which is defined as the act of making amends for a wrong or injury, which is something that Bryony was unsuccessful in attempting to achieve. Wright has left it up to the viewer whether or not to sympathize with Bryony. The film sets scene in England in 1935, with a 13-year-old aspiring playwright, Bryony, who has just finished her first play. Whilst positioned at a window within her family's mansion, she witnesses an argument between Robbie and Cecilia. From Bryony's perspective, all we can gather from the situation is a demanding Robbie and her drenched sister, who appears to have just taken a swim in the fountain out the front of their house. Us, the viewers, are left confused by these events, until they play out again in the next scene of the movie, from the perspective of Robbie and Cecilia. This shows us what Bryony hasn't seen, the breaking of the vase, and the broken shard falling into the fountain, which is the reason Cecilia went into the fountain. The conversation between Cecilia and Robbie, leading up to these events, and that Robbie's seemingly demanding gesture that we recognised earlier is a warning to Cecilia of the fragments of vase on the ground. This is the first presentation of the use of multiple perspectives within the film, and it sets the bar for the rest of the movie and encourages the viewers to see the bigger picture. Another instance within the film where Wright has used multiple perspectives to encourage the viewer to adopt a particular narrative perspective is the library scene. This time, he hasn't used Bryony's physical perspective as such, but rather her position as an innocent young girl, unaware of complex concepts such as love. During this particular scene, Bryony walks in on Cecilia and Robbie's fling. Again here, what Bryony sees is very different to what actually happens. Bryony sees Cecilia crying, and Robbie as a sex-crazed maniac. What actually happened was that Cecilia is overcome with emotion and confusion about the whole situation and sex. Something that Bryony can't fully understand the intentions or emotions behind. Ultimately, these two sections are all the better off for director Joe Wright's use of shifting perspectives, as it gives a new dimension and understanding to the text, which then carries through to the conclusion. And although it isn't a particularly happy ending, there is definitely a lot that can be appreciated about this iconic film.